I want to do introductions before I kind of get into this because I know it's going to get a little bit lit, but I'm ready for all three of you guys. Chatter in the back. Hey, foreplay guy, incense. Make your way.
Yeah.
Swordman, go.
Box the shirt.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Shot with her over there.
Oh, you wore the
Thank
shirt.
you.
Let's go.
Thank you, ma'am.
For you, right?
Phoenix.
Thank you.
So introductions, I want to start with my man on the left. Who you are, what are we here for?
Cool. What's up, everybody? I'm Jeff. I run sales at Digio. We're a quizzing pop-up landing page platform.
Hey guys, I'm Phoenix Ha. I'm the CEO and co-founder of AdBeacon. We're a first-party data attribution and optimization platform. I'm also a media buyer.
Hey everybody, I'm Charlie. I'm founder of Disruptor School. I've spent a lot of money on Facebook and I've made a lot of mistakes, and I'm here to try to help you avoid that by listening to my life lessons. There we go.
Beautiful. First off, no clapping at that. No clapping. First
I
off,
liked it. Clap away.
No applause.
No clapping.
First off, my thing is there's been a lot of drama going on, mainly around is Facebook dead? Is Facebook not dead? Is audiences there? Audiences not there? I know when I was using this platform, mainly gathering the information, A, through quizzes, or B, through just asking the right thing. How are you able to provide more information, audience-wise, so that we on the media buying side can optimize? Before you answer this, who's running paid media right now on Facebook? Meta. The whole room. So this is applicable.
Let's just call it Facebook.
Can we just call this? Can we agree that we're calling this Facebook?
We don't call it Alphabet.
No, we don't.
Yeah.
No, this is a good point. It's a great point.
And it started. Let's go.
You might call it X.
So back into Jeff.
Yeah, man.
How are we able to grab a little bit more audiences without us? Because it's everyone's going go broad.
Yeah.
Broad with what?
So you've got a lot of traffic that's going to the site, right?
Yes.
We had the awesome session on post-purchase surveys. Pre-purchase, you need to use all of that data, asking questions, right? What are you interested in, the categories you care about, but pass that over into your ESP and also your ad platforms, wherever it needs to go in real time, even if they abandon the quiz. Like you'll see a 10% increase in conversion rate lift just by throwing a quiz on the front-facing page of the site, but also use that like pre-BFCM and pre-just holiday season to pass all those different metadata fields into ad sets. So, we have Andy Swim, good example, sells swimsuits, size guides, they're looking at one-piece swimsuits, right? Use all of those different data points, even if somebody abandons it, to make ad sets super badass.
But why am I putting a quiz when I want to pop up to collect their information?
Say again?
Why am I putting a quiz if I'm wanting to put a pop-up to get their email pop for their... Do I do both?
Yeah, you do both. So you can also use the quiz, right, to do email acquisition at first. Like we generally say, throw that email acquisition question, the very first question you ask. But you need to use the quiz to gather further information. It's zero-party data. They're telling you what they care about. So use that stuff to build super-duper solid ad sets.
Charlie, how many brands in the past, and I think 10 Nutrition did this, were they running quizzes to decide on what product to put in front of them, or do any of your current brands do that?
Yes, 310 Nutrition did quizzes, although as we moved away from that, I will say that I think quizzes are really important to understand what your customers are looking for, although I think the reason you run Facebook ads is not to sell all of your products.
What do you mean?
The reason you run Facebook ads is to acquire future cash flow at a profit. In my opinion, the reason I'm running ads is so that I can make money. I want to do that in the way that is most consistent, most stable, most projectable. If you're selling say you're selling 4 different products, 3 of them are a lower quality investment than the best one. So the quizzes I think are tremendously helpful, but Facebook is ultimately there, in my opinion, to amplify the business model as it exists. For me, the value of the quizzes isn't so much in using Facebook to amplify your business model, but to understand what that business model should be and improve it. But I would like to have a very consistent and stable tip of the spear with which to grow everything else. If I can get better at that by understanding quizzes or also understanding what products are being sold by SKU based off of other information that's coming in, like with the AdBeacon, then I'm gonna understand how better to set up my business model. But I guess the way I want to say this is, I'm not responding to quizzes to decide what products to promote with my Facebook ads. I'm viewing quizzes to understand how to better use the revenue and customers I'm getting to amplify what happens after that initial purchase. Because that initial purchase is a lead to future cash flow. Unless you're just selling a product, in which case Facebook's an extension of you being in an Amazon store.
Well, there's a lot of people that don't have, for instance, we're a single SKU seller and we sell multiple things of that SKU.
Sure.
When we have a new product coming out, like even though I don't know how it's going to do, I'm 100% going to try and sell that shit on Facebook.
Sure.
Now, I'm not going to upload existing audiences. I'm not going to do any of this because I want to see, can this product stand alone? Can this product make money? Even though I have no previous learnings of that, it will make money.
Sure.
So how would you, new product, new launch, I'm setting this up. How am I thinking about trying to make money with this?
Yeah, I mean, I get a lot of pushback. People will say, well, like, I don't know my LTV. Well, like, if you have an AOV of your first purchase, that's your initial LTV. You can understand how much it costs for me to sell, how much it costs for me to manufacture, and like, what is the profit I made on that customer? And organically, if you can make a profit on that, then you know what to amplify. In this case, it's one SKU. So if you can make a profit on that, then you can invest some of that profit into growing the opportunity of the rest of the business. I think polling your customers and getting a survey would be tremendous for you to know what the vertical integration opportunities are past that initial transaction. I would say it would be incredibly disruptive and dangerous for you to then chase all of those with other Facebook ads, because it makes the machine learning inherently dumber for you to basically say, I'm going to take what makes money and I'm going to make less money doing that to invest more heavily in things that aren't as effective. And at the end of the day, that's worse for my cash flow. Does that make sense?
It does, but there's sometimes you don't have a choice. Like sometimes you have to sell all the products. So if I were to ask Phoenix, I have to sell all my products. One of them, it definitely isn't as profitable as the other one, but I don't have a choice because I have dead inventory. I don't want to have dead inventory. I want it to move. So if I'm taking my hero SKU, am I keeping it fully in its own campaign? Am I moving it into its own campaign? What is your approach to this?
I'm so sorry. There's a really bad echo up here, and I can barely hear you.
Shut up in the back.
I'm hearing womp womp skew.
So mainly, is this better now?
No,
No?
but it's okay.
He's saying if you want to move a product, if you have to sell a SKU
Yeah.
for business operational purposes,
Okay.
would you isolate that into if I'm wrong, correct me. Would you isolate that specifically into its own campaign to push that product, even if it's not necessarily the best investment because business operation mandates that has to occur? Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, okay. It might not be as profitable.
Right.
I have to sell it. Am I putting that in my own existing campaign or not?
Yeah, I mean, I would. I mean, again, it depends on how you want to structure things. If you want it as its own campaign and its own product, and you want to report on it separately, fine. Again, I think a lot of it's blended. Okay, look, I'm a huge proponent of first-party data, right? So when I'm able to, what AdBeacon does is we're able to deduce down from campaign, ad set, and ad what is actually driving SKUs in terms of sales, right? So in Meta, we don't know what people are actually buying. Unless we send them to a product page that's blocked and you can't, roam around the website, you don't know. So again, in its own campaign and it's not, I'm going to react to how is that ad actually driving sales to specific SKUs, whether they be, profit drivers or not. If they're brand drivers, great. I'm gonna kind of flip the script a little bit. So for example, back in the day, right, if you didn't have first party, you would have, let's just say, this Nirvana shirt. You want to push this Nirvana shirt. And you're seeing all this revenue and conversion coming through in Meta, and you're like, fuck yeah, I'm getting Nirvana shirt sales. But then you go into your Shopify, and you're like, I'm not moving the SKU. The SKU is not moving. You're like, well, what are people actually buying? Well, you already knew that it was driving traffic to your site, qualified traffic, and they're buying other SKUs. The problem is you don't know what those SKUs are. I'm always going to bring it back to first party, and then you know what those SKUs are. So back down to, okay, if it's not as profitable, then you have to make the decision. I think you just need to make more educated decisions as to what you need to drive, whether it be inventory, profitability, whatever that is, and then make those decisions off of data that makes sense. At least there's something tracked there. I hope I answered your question, but I think it's just dependent on what you think is most important for your business.
Can I add to that too? I think there's an assumption that people make that I think was in the question that I think you might have overcome as well, is that the product in your ad is not necessarily the product people buy, and that can happen at massive scale.
Correct.
Like sometimes people say, well, I'm out of this product, I have to turn off the ad. And my response is like, I've run Black Friday ads till May, who gives a shit? If I'm making money, I'm gonna keep going. Like, Balenciaga will sell out of their product and still run that ad for 6 months. Like, the point of it is like, the purpose of an ad isn't to sell a product. The purpose of a Facebook ad is to get somebody into your store. Your store's job is to sell that product. Your brand's job is to sell that product. Now, that ad might condition them to want to take a specific action. But an ad that gets somebody's attention and interest in the brand, to get them to want to buy from you, is phenomenally more effective than an ad that's really good at selling something that I don't want. And I think that first party data
There's
is
no
pretty helpful.
guarantee, right, that an ad is going to drive sales to one product unless you only have one product. Okay, like that's just, I agree and disagree, right? But then you also have to be more efficient, right? And you have to understand, like, what does your brand need to have food at the end of the table, like at the end of the day, right? So I think a perfect case study of this is I run ads for Brixton, okay? They're fine with me sharing this. And we had this, I've shared this with a couple of you kind of in our sidebar chats, but there was this cardigan ad. It was like this red, ugly ass cardigan ad that they did like a collaboration with some really cool person in some state, whatever. And we're driving all this traffic, right? And it's pumping, at least on my end. And I'm like, oh, sick, yeah, cool. But then the CEO calls me, he's like, Phoenix, turn off this ad. This ad is, those SKUs aren't moving, right? Because you see this really great photo of this ugly ass cardigan, really beautiful cardigan. And people aren't just buying that cardigan, but people are buying something else. And what I'm saying in terms of efficiency of your ads, especially as you're going to Black Friday, Cyber Mondays, what if I told you that I now know that people are buying the Dad Gang snapbacks? Let's just pretend Brixton sells these, right? So if we know that, why don't we send people to a landing page that has the cardigan, right? Because they need to see that, but why don't we have those 3 snapbacks and then have a bundle deal, increase that AOV, reduce the amount of clicks, and have better sell-through? So again, efficiency.